everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. We're your boys. We always got something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And today, everybody, we're going to be talking about some of the Bo Bichette trade rumors. We heard just a little while ago that the Toronto Blue Jays are still actively listening in on some offers for Bo Bichette. We have a couple proposed deals that we're going to break down in this one and just kind of discuss what a Bo Bichette trade would look like, and are we down for it? What would we get in return? All of the above. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please make sure to hit that like and smash the subscribe button if you enjoy Toronto Blue Jays content and discussion. Let's flash over to that report from Ken Rosenthal. This was coming out during the holiday season, so both of us, I think, were back home with our families at the time and really haven't had an opportunity to really take it all in. But he came out and said that the Toronto Blue Jays are listening to trade offers on star shortstop Bo Bichette. Now, this isn't the first time that we've heard that they're actively kind of engaging in those conversations, but it felt like after the trade deadline last year happened, they really quieted down, and this is the first time that we're kind of hearing this all again, that, no, actually, maybe Bo Bichette could go. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, I think that it's a good idea to be listening to offers for Bo Bichette. I mean, realistically, you're not going to be signing back Bo Bichette. If you're going to be hauling out money for anybody, it's going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and it's not going to be Bo Bichette, unfortunately, because there are a lot of question marks around him. However, if you are listening to offers, you can get someone a bite on a really big offer for Bo Bichette and sending over some rebuilding prospects your way. I think you absolutely got to listen to it, because realistically, yes, Bo Bichette is a big part of what could be a competitive 2025 Blue Jays, but right now we're at the point where we don't have a competitive roster, and a lot of those free agents have left the board already, and it's going to take a lot more than just Bo Bichette coming back for this team to be competitive. So I think listening to offers might be a good step in the rebuilding direction. So if they get a good offer, I'm all for it.
Dude, I'm actually in the exact same boat, right? Like, Bo Bichette and the possibility of trading him, for me, it's always just been about the return. You know, like, I don't think that you need to actively be going out there and being like, you know, like, it's burning a hole in your pocket. Like, we got to get rid of this guy. We got to trade him and just, like, get any offer. No, I think that you're comfortable with holding if you do not get an offer good enough. But I think that 100%, like, this is a chip that you have right now that you should be willing to get rid of if somebody gets on the phone and offers you a top prospect or two, or offers you, you know, an MLB-ready player right now that has a bit of control. We saw last year that Bo Bichette was effectively just a non-factor. Now, obviously, the team wasn't very good last year, and I do think that having a Bo Bichette bounce back would be big. But we kind of saw, like, a little bit of a window into what life beyond Bo Bichette would look like. And honestly, for a while there, like, I didn't even really notice that we were missing him, you know? So I would be, again, like, on board just like you, but the return has got to be there for me.
Yeah, I agree, man. And shout out, thank you, whoever just subscribed. This is a pre-record, but people are subscribing while we're recording. Yeah, I agree. And I guess maybe we didn't miss him that much last year because of how poorly he did perform. I mean, he literally had a negative WAR and an OPS below 600, and we had guys that were better than that last year. But you're right. Like, I am looking at beyond the window of 2025 and looking at who could play shortstop for the Toronto Blue Jays in the following years. With that being said, guys, we do have a first rumor right here coming out from the New York Yankees side of things. They're looking at trading Bo Bichette, and they're thinking about maybe a package that would involve Anthony Volpe. Now, if you know anything about Ross Atkins in this front office, you know that they love defense, and they'll sacrifice offense for defense 10 times out of 10. We've already been seeing it this offseason and the previous offseason. So Anthony Volpe in a trade package for Bo Bichette, he's got lots of control, right? He's ARB eligible through 2026 and not a free agent until 2029. And all he's really been proven at the big league level is, hey, I got a gold glove and I can't hit. He kind of reminds me of Andres Gimenez a little bit without proving that 1 year that Andres Gimenez can hit over 800 OPS. Thoughts on maybe a package for Anthony Volpe in return?
Well, it's interesting because I'm trying to think of it from a Yankees perspective too, and I guess, you know, like, the only way that this would make sense from the Yankees side of things is if they truly believe in the bounce back and they're probably going to try to lock him up long term, you know, because again, like, Bo Bichette is coming off of a bad year, and Anthony Volpe, you know, albeit never a great hitter so far in MLB, has proven that he can accumulate 3.5 WAR season in and season out. So I guess if you can sell the New York Yankees on the upside of Bo Bichette, which obviously we've seen time and time again, and then also they're thinking to themselves, well, like this can be the shortstop of the future, that would make sense for them. The one thing that I have a hard time getting over, I guess, is Ross Atkins and the front office actively deciding to give Bo Bichette, somebody that, like, I own his jersey of, and many other Toronto Blue Jays fans own his jersey, actively giving that guy to a division rival like the New York Yankees.
Right. No, I mean, division trades are very difficult, and I think division trades are worth it if the price is right. But then again, look over on the Yankee side of things, like you're talking about, why would I be trading my guy Anthony Volpe over to the Blue Jays unless I truly thought this is a win and I can lock down Bo Bichette forever? And we're kind of done with the defensive first mindset of Anthony Volpe.
Yeah,
we need offense on this line.
100%, right? And you do look at that Yankees lineup, like, I get it in the sense of, well, they're looking for like a really strong leadoff hitter,
right?
I mean,
that's the guy.
That could be the guy right there.
Right.
Like, you were missing that in your World Series run.
Yeah, you were.
And if Bo Bichette was playing really good baseball, then I mean, there you have it. So that would make sense in that regard. I do think, honestly, like, the Blue Jays are kind of winning this trade just with the control of Anthony Volpe. And with that being said, like, if that's the type of return that you'd be getting, like, I'm 100% down for it. Now, obviously, I want somebody that can hit the baseball a little bit better, and Volpe might not be that, but just in terms of like this is how much WAR he's going to give you year in and year out, and he's a free agent in 2029. I mean, like, there is a lot of value there.
Well, that's what it is for me. It's like you're not going to have Bo Bichette after 2025. You're going to have Anthony Volpe until 2029, right?
Correct.
So for me, it's like, okay, well, let's cross that bridge of getting bats when we get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not looking to compete anyway, so hopefully we develop some better bats or make some big free agent moves later down the line.
And also cheap. He would be very, very cheap.
He would be very, very cheap. So, his arbitration is probably going to be dirt cheap.
It should be relatively cheap, man. So that was one of the proposed trades that we found online that was very interesting. And one of those ones where I think the offer is big enough that if the Yankees were actually doing that, then if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you 100% listen. And what's exciting, too, is that's an MLB-ready player that can start right now. So you could actually convince people that we're still trying to compete and also make that trade.
Atkins would be, or up the middle defense would be unreal.
That would actually be kind of nasty.
Jimenez and Volpe, we're gonna turn like 7 double plays a game.
It's
like,
0-0 ball games all the way to the 15th inning.
Yeah, literally.
We got another one in here from the LA Dodgers. Now, this is a team that's been regularly reported to be looking at Bo Bichette. They were talked about initially in the offseason as being one of the top contenders for Willy Adames. That didn't happen. He went to the San Francisco Giants. Now they're wondering, well, who are we going to have play up the middle? Bo Bichette might make some sense. And when you look at that team, and this trade to me, like it makes sense from a team standpoint. It's like from the Dodgers, I can see it, and from the Blue Jays, I can see it. The Dodgers have a ton of pitchers right now, like elite ones as well. Bobby Miller might be one of the players that you have forgotten about. And in this article, they propose that the Dodgers trade away Bobby Miller and the Toronto Blue Jays trade away Bo Bichette. Talk to me a little bit about Bobby Miller and what a deal like this might look like.
Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? If we got Bobby Miller back, I would be thrilled. Now, you got to forget about last year because he was hurt. Don't look at that 8.52 ERA with a negative almost 2 WAR.
Jesus Christ.
That was not good. It was terrible. But going into 2024, Bobby Miller was talked about as being one of the most exciting young talents in all of baseball. You look back in 2023, he had a 3.76 ERA with 124 innings pitched. It's pretty good for a young guy at what was his age of 24. And look at his 2023 percentiles. Very, very good. The fastball values up there, the breaking, the off speed, everything was working for him. He averaged, 94 miles per hour on his fastball, topping out at 99. That is an exciting young guy that actually has been proving it at the major league level.
Yeah.
Like, if you can get over the injuries that he had, then he's an exciting young guy. Now, I could be mistaken about this, but I believe he could be having Tommy John right now. So there could be a bit of an issue. That someone correct me in the chat, because when I go over to Dodgers, Fangraphs, he's not on there. He's listed as injured. So there could be a bit of an injury history right there with him. But listen, again, it's the same thing for me. I get more control out of Bobby Miller that has shown some pretty good upside, and honestly very exciting upside in the MLB level, than a Bo Bichette with 1 more year remaining. So I'd be willing to punt a year of just removing that whole roster spot completely if he is injured for the entire year, And I'd be okay with that because in the future years, which are really important, we get a nice guy like Bobby Miller.
Well, and I also think, too, it's like you got to be realistic with the return that you're going to get. And somebody that is injured and somebody that is coming off of a down year is, well, that's Bo Bichette for you, right? So if you're trading that away, what are you getting in return? Probably something similar, you know?
Right.
So honestly, like, I think that one makes a bit more sense to me than like the Anthony Volpe proposed deal. I love the Anthony Volpe deal, and I think I could also get behind something like a Bobby Miller too, even if he is injured for a little while. So yeah, for me, it's like that makes sense from both sides, and yeah, I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, me too. And it looks like I'm looking at the Fangraphs right now. They have him out in the minor leagues, and he's injured. So we'll see. We'll see what he becomes of next year. But I'm very, very excited about that. Now let's move on to a third one here. This one's a little bit of a shocker for me because you got a team that is the Seattle Mariners coming into the picture.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now everyone, back to the content.
This whole offseason, where are the Seattle Mariners? We haven't really seen them do a whole lot after they, fumbled the bag in their division last offseason. But hey, they're still a team that's looking for offense. And obviously, Bo Bichette offers that value right there. And now this article proposes a deal that would involve sending over 2 of their top prospects. And literally, it would involve sending over Colt Emerson and Cole Young. That is 2 guys in the top 40 of all MLB prospects right there for Bo Bichette. Now, when I hear that, I go, what the hell? That is a steal for the Toronto Blue Jays. What do you think? Is it an absolute steal?
Yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen. Did they say both of them or just one of either of them?
Let me check right here.
Because I think it would make more sense if it's one of either. If they're talking about both of them in this article, like that would just be truly insanity for me.
Yeah, so the top prospects, Major League Ready, third base.
Okay,
yeah, either. Okay.
Yeah,
my mistake.
There's just, they're honestly, like, I think it'd be kind of wild to even send over one of them, in my opinion, let alone both of them.
Right.
But because these are top 40 prospects in all of MLB. Like, these are both really good, strong young players, and they're both shortstops, you know? So it's like, honestly, from a Toronto Blue Jays standpoint, you just kind of be like turning the clock over. Now, you don't know what you have yet, but you hope that somebody that is this highly touted and that is shown this much potential is going to develop into somebody very, very strong for you and, have on a long-term deal. From a Mariners standpoint, I guess, like, if they believe that, once again, if they believe that Bo Bichette is going to bounce back, and also, too, maybe they can lock him up to, not a long-term deal, but something after this, then I could definitely see it make sense. Because if you look over at that division, it's like, who's winning that thing?
Right.
Seriously, like, who's winning that thing?
It could be anybody. I mean, really.
Could really be anybody.
They got good pitching over there in Seattle, and, Houston's kind of taking a step back. Texas is trying to get back into it. They had a big not sophomore slump, but a World Series hangover.
Yeah.
And you could find yourself back in it. Now, I personally, maybe I'm a biased person towards the Seattle Mariners, but, like, they need a lot to go right for them to get it done. They do need a lot more offense than just Bo Bichette. I love Bo Bichette, obviously, but, like, they need a lot more over there to get it done. We'll see. But again, if you're sending me over a top prospect, I'm smashing that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. And from their perspective, again, I'm not super familiar with all of their 1 through 9 lineup, but if you bring Bo Bichette in and he bounces back, and then you get a Julio Rodriguez bounce back with
big.
that pitching staff and with that bullpen, it's immediately like, oh shit, like now we are winning those 1-run ball games that last year we were losing. So I can see it from their perspective, and that, to me, would be a different approach than some of those other trades, right? Because you look at Anthony Volpe, you can sell to the fans that you're still technically competing. Like, you can sell that we are competing in 2025, whatever. If you make that deal, then it is 100% we are now in rebuild mode. If I'm being completely transparent with you guys, I find it hard to believe that Ross Atkins is going to pull the trigger on something like that, because I don't think that he wants to admit or concede, to a rebuild or anything like that. I think probably he would be looking for something like that Anthony Volpe deal, maybe the Bobby Miller one if he can. But again, like, if the value's there for me, like I'd 100% be on board for it.
I mean, absolutely. It's honestly the reality of a rebuild is happening. I mean, and whether you want it to be Ross Atkins controlling the rebuild or not, I know a lot of people don't want him controlling the rebuild because he might not make the right moves, because he might go and send Bo Bichette off for like a pack of peanuts, and then that would just be like, well, then why even do that in the first place?
I don't think that I want him controlling the rebuild because I don't think that he is accepting that there is a rebuild, and because of that, like his mindset would never fully be on rebuilding,
right?
And therefore, you'd be getting these weird wacky deals where it's like, well, you get one kind of middling prospect and then one, defensive first MLB ready player now, and you're wondering, well, what are we doing? Are we competing? Are we rebuilding? What the fuck's going on?
We're just trying to fill seats.
I don't want him to do that.
We're just trying to fill seats rather than we're trying to be competitive. We're just trying to look like we're doing something, but we're really not. You know what I mean? So
100%, man. Guys, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about any of these Bo Bichette, proposed trades that are coming out right now? Should the Toronto Blue Jays get rid of him? Should they hold on to them? Should they try to extend him, guys? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below.
Yeah, guys, $3 a month to become a Patreon member. Shout out and thank you to all of our current Patreon members and to our YouTube members. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always,
go Jays, go!